Okay, so bill's $50, so let's add 20% tip.
20% on top of the 50.
Yeah, that's normal.
That's not normal. In Germany, we give 2 euros and they say Dankeschön.
Okay, well that's insulting, okay? They leave off tips here.
Well, maybe your country should start focusing on paying them a real salary and not let us pay for that, yeah?
This is not how it works.
Das ist Unverschämtheit. You know what? Ich gebe den 1,50 €.
Wait, $1.50?
Yeah.
For a $50 bill?
Yeah. I think that's appropriate.
That's, oh my God.
Americans, I have a question for you. What is the right tipping etiquette on takeout coffee? So we live in Australia and there is like no tipping culture whatsoever there. And obviously while we're here, we have been tipping.
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah,
Too
per
much
drink, like
actually.
$5 per drink.
I accidentally tipped $18 on a poolside pizza.
Apparently we're made of money.
But I've had some friends who live here tell me that you don't need to tip on takeout, but I feel like if you didn't tip, there would definitely be some hostility there. So please help us out.
Even many Americans admit the same thing. Tipping culture is getting out of hand.
Tipping culture is getting out of hand now in America. I'm going to call it what I like to call an epidemic. I'm at the coffee shop recently. I ordered my coffee black, right? I was not loved as a child, so that's why I do that. But the lady takes it, puts it from the pot into the coffee cup, no problem, flips the screen around and says, hey, it's going to ask you a couple questions. And I said, oh, is it now? Because I know you know the question it's going to ask. I know the question. We all know it. You're not fooling anyone. Not everything deserves a tip. I went to go get new tires on my truck, and they literally had the screen turn around and had the audacity to say, would you like to tip? And I said, no, not at all. The only thing that screen should be saying is this total correct? Did we price gouge you for these tires? Yes, you did.
So good job, tourists coming to New York City. You've pissed off the bars and the restaurants, and frankly, I love it myself. So here in the United States, where the tip culture has gotten so out of hand that even self-service at supermarkets now include a tip option, I kid you not, that is really a thing now. The tourists that have come to New York City from other countries where they don't have a tip culture are not leaving tips at the bars. And because of the way the system works here in the US, the fact that studio apartments in New York City can run you between $2,500 and $3,500 a month US, which by Euro standards would be about $2,200 to about $3,100 a month for a studio, by the way, not even a first one bedroom. The wait staff is paid below minimum wage because it is legal. All of you out there probably know this. All of you mock that. I'm not blaming you on the slightest. On my side, I have that reverse counterculture thing where I go to places like England, France, Japan, and I don't have to pay it. And by the way, I want to point out additionally, a lot of times your tax is built in. So if the bill says 15 euros, it's 15 euros, not 15 plus tax. So that's something that's a little bit of an adjustment. Props to you guys for that. But what's happening now is that a lot of the restaurants and the bars are adding a mandatory 20% gratuity to offset for the lack of tips. So that $30 burger and fries that you got, which actually sincerely is actually how much it's running in a lot of places in Manhattan, not even like the upscale places, just the average places, that $30 burger and fries is now going to run you about $36. That $15 beer is going to run you probably, 18, 19, however the math works out. So the good news for you is you don't have to sit there and figure out the tip calculator. You don't need one. They're doing it for you, and yeah, it's just going to get more expensive. Let me know your thoughts.
Just pay your stuff! Just pay your stuff! We won't be tipping for beers at the half!
The football was easy to understand. America's tipping culture, that took a lot longer.
Group of Australians out here in Los Angeles, and we've been here for about a week in the United States. I've seen articles of the locals getting annoyed at Australians and other tourists for not tipping because it's not normal to tip in their own country. And to be honest, when I first got here, I wasn't tipping anyone. I was like, stuff that. Oh, it's already expensive. Why am I going to tip someone? They're already getting paid by their boss. But then now, a week in, I realized, you know what? It's actually a better system. In Australia, we just, as an employer, you pay your employee just for rocking up to work. Regardless of whether they do a good job or not, they get paid. But here you get rewarded for a better job. And you know what I realized? The service here is 10 times better than in Australia. And so I'm not even tipping 10, 15, 18% anymore, like the recommended, or 20%. I'm tipping 100%.
Okay, this is about the World Cup, like the tourists coming to America and then they're like going to bars or whatever, going to restaurants, and they'll rack up a bill and it's like, say $700, and they'll leave like no tip at all. And people are like, well, just pay your staff. Like, we're not gonna do that, blah, blah, blah. And like, this is one thing where, do I agree with the sentiment of we should be paying, you know, service workers the living wage? Absolutely. I think that they should be getting bare minimum wage, because I learned about the whole like service wage thing before, and I was like, that makes no sense. What do you mean they're making like $3 an hour and then they depend on tips? It's stupid. But if Americans went to any other country and said, we're not gonna do that, like, we're American, the entire world would be like, oh, look at those stupid Americans, they always think that they're so entitled. You know what I mean? Because the only thing that you're doing by not tipping is hurting the server at the end of the day. Like, you're not hurting the business. They're still getting their money because the tips go to the server. So like, you're not like sticking it to the boss and showing them, you know, oh, this is what you should do. You're literally just making sure that the server doesn't go home with any money to like pay their rent or feed their children. So again, all I'm saying is, do I agree with the sentiment? Yes, but you just not tipping is not going to change what's going on, and you're also just hurting the little guy. You're not hurting the big guy. And again, if Americans went to any other country and we were like, oh, we're not gonna do this thing, it's stupid, we would get flamed. But they're just like, no, everyone else is gonna do this. You know what I mean? Like, just if you're gonna come to America, be a part of the American culture. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Soon, social media was flooded with videos about America's tipping culture.
Let me get you some cash for the tip. Oh no, it's fine. I'm not gonna be tipping. What do you mean we're not gonna be tipping her? Was something wrong? No, honestly, everything was great. I just don't believe in tipping anybody. Actually, tipping culture in America is absolutely insane. I'm not tipping you for my freaking latte. You do realize that, you know, servers and bartenders, they don't make minimum wage. They do, you know, work for tips, right? Okay, that's literally not my problem or your problem to pay their bills. So every time we've been going to a restaurant and you pay, you just haven't been tipping? Yes, I have not been tipping one time since we've been going out. It's not my job as the customer of a restaurant to pay the employee a livable wage. Okay, it is the employer's job to pay the employee a livable wage. Does that make sense? So you understand? We've been dating for months. We've gone to numerous restaurants. We've gone to fine dining restaurants. Our bill once was over $400 and you didn't tip her? In my defense, I don't even know what 20% of 400 is, and why would I tip her more than that? That is absolutely insane. I would never tip on top of even $5. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to rethink some things because we clearly have very different viewpoints on how to treat service industry workers and bartenders, waitstaff, different things like that. Yes, so I'll call you. Well, if you want to start paying everyone's freaking rent, you need to start paying for our meals. Yeah, well, I doubt that there is going to be any more date nights, honestly, so.
Visiting for the World Cup, in case nobody told you, we tip. Here we tip. Yes, I know. Tipping culture in New York City, in this country in general, it's fucked. Should be getting paid livable wages, but we don't make money if we don't get tips. So don't sit at the bar and watch 3 games and order 20 beers and chat the night away and don't tip. I get so triggered by soccer games. I just have to wake up at 5 a.m. for a 7 a.m. Arsenal game. Sometimes we walk away with $25. So, in case nobody told us, it's okay if you don't know. We tip here.
Excuse me, can you help me understand how tipping works in the US? Oh yeah, of course. It's super simple. So basically think of it like a service charge. If you go to a restaurant, somebody serves you, that's a tip. You get your nails done, the person who is serving you by doing your nails gets a tip. Okay, so then if I go to a grocery store, they're helping you pack your bags, you tip 20%. Don't be silly, we don't tip at grocery stores. It's just too quick of an interaction. Okay, so if I order a drink at the bar, it's quick so I don't tip. Actually, you should tip at bars like either $1 to $2 per drink or 15 to 20%. Oh, this is so confusing. And what about coffee shop? It kind of depends, like a chain coffee shop, not really, but a local coffee shop, then yeah. And fast food? No, not really. I mean, it's appreciated, so you always can. Putain, and what, you just memorize everything? Yeah, and if you don't know, then just go based off the vibes. Trust me, you don't want that, because the French vibes would be to never tip.
It wasn't just one person's experience. Similar stories began surfacing everywhere. As more visitors shared their experiences, the conversation quickly gained momentum.
Hey dear Americans, what happened here with the tip culture in your country? So I was at a Starbucks, and at a Starbucks it's not premium high quality coffee and service. It's Starbucks. And the guy flipped the tablet and the standard was 25% tip, 25% on top of a coffee. What happened here? It's totally out of control. So Starbucks really, so my rule is where I stand in a line and I order something and there is no service. Why should I tip someone with no service? I mean, come on. If he's polite, if he's kind, okay, give it 5%, give it 10%. Maybe. It's rare. But don't tip in a Starbucks. I mean, don't get me wrong. Huh? So when we are in a restaurant and the service is pretty good, so I'm happy to tip 20, 30% when it's enormous good, but not in a Starbucks. Come on, let's get back to normality here. So no tipping in Starbucks, no tipping in McDonald's, Burger King, Sonic, and all these stuff. There is no service, there is no tip. Come on.
The topic spread far beyond the stadiums, becoming a viral online conversation.
And you'll tip me $0, then $3 of that will come out of my money.
How does Texas Roadhouse pay you?
They pay us $2.13 an hour.
Okay, and then they'll match to minimum if you don't make that in tips, right?
Yes. That really happens though. So we make minimum wage if we were to make that.
If you didn't get tips to cover from that to minimum.
Yes.
So then how does tipping out work? So a lot of people don't know this.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we take 3% of our sales, and that's split amongst the bussers and the hosts. So if the table tips you and doesn't tip you anything at all, then that'll come out of our personal money. Does that make sense?
So if it was like the whole night was like $1,000 worth of food sold, you have to pay 3% of that out of your tips?
Yes. Honestly, all restaurants are like
And
that.
then-
So technically, say y'all's tab was like $100, and y'all tip me $0, then $3 of that would come out of my money.
So if we don't, so we shouldn't tip you anything. Is what you're
I
saying?
mean, I would pay to serve y'all, but I mean, y'all were fun, so it would be okay.
Thank
you so much.
For many visitors, it became one of the most unexpected parts of their trip. The reactions ranged from amused to genuinely confused, but they all had one thing in common. They weren't expecting it.
But I really hate tip culture. I really do. It's the fact of people like this. I mean, he's getting mad that somebody didn't tip him for a DoorDash, and he's already saying, oh, pissing your food, so on and so forth. Like, what are we talking about? You're telling me the only reason you're gonna treat someone nice is because of a tip? That, first off, is wild. And second off, it shouldn't be someone's responsibility to make sure you get paid. It should be the government's responsibility. The fact that minimum wage for waitresses and waiters are like freaking $2, $5 is sickening and should be wrong. It should be illegal. Because if you go to any other country, they don't accept tip. There's no such thing as tipping in other countries. They don't do that thing. Like it is only an American westernized thing. It's because our government isn't doing their job. I mean, minimum wage is terrible. And the fact that waitresses and waiters get treated terribly and sometimes don't get tips is terrible. And that sucks. But y'all can't be blaming people who aren't tipping because y'all realize tips are just, they're not obligation, they're not mandatory. If someone had a bad service or they just didn't enjoy the food or the food was too expensive, why would they pay an extra $10, $20 for a tip? They wouldn't do that. And they shouldn't have to. The government should be paying everyone pretty well for a job that takes a lot of skill and patience, like being a waiter/waitress. But besides that, what
Clips from the interviews spread rapidly across social media.
What I find weird is that I'll just get a bottle of water from someone and they're trying to get a tip for doing nothing.
We went out the other night and had a few drinks and they were expecting a tip after every drink. So it's like, it can get expensive very quick.
In Japan, there's no tipping. I think the price without the tipping is already expensive. So with the tipping, I think it's way too much.
You see a price and then you got the tax, then you got the tip. So everything is more than you think.
It should be on the business, not the customer, to be kind of making sure your staff are well paid.
Dropping hundreds of dollars on beers and not leaving a single cent for a tip? For Aussies, that's just a Saturday night. But in the US, it's sending bartenders into a complete meltdown. As an estimated 1.2 million soccer fans flood the US for the World Cup, local venue staff are discovering that international visitors didn't get the memo about America's tipping culture. The beer is flowing, but the tips are coming up short. One New York waitress revealed large groups are racking up tabs of almost $700 and leaving absolutely nothing. International fans are genuinely so baffled by the American ritual of calculating tips that venues are being forced to change how they operate. And no, they aren't finally paying their workers a proper wage. They're just slapping an automatic 20% fee straight onto the bill.
Just pay your stuff! Just pay your stuff! We won't be tipping for beers and a half!
Venue staff say they're learning to roll with it. But their advice to tourists? Embrace the local customs if you want to have a better time.
It quickly became one of the most talked about cultural differences people encountered.
Excuse me, I have a question. Do you guys share your tips?
Yeah, we share with the hosts, the bussers, bartenders, sometimes even the kitchen. It just depends on our sales.
Oh, well then I'm not going to tip you 20%. I'm just going to hand you this and you can keep it for yourself.
Yeah, so it doesn't really work that way. If you give me that $5 on 100, then I'm actually paying to serve you.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. You should blame the employer, not the customer.
Well, you're right in the fact that it's not necessarily your fault. You did take up my table for 2.5 hours, run me back and forth across the restaurant like 5 times, asked for 6 refills, 4 extra breads, the skin peeled off your salmon, the limes cut into squares so because they look better or whatever. So do you think that I would do all that for like an hourly wage?
Well, I just don't understand.
Well,
other countries do it and they provide good service.
Weird flex, but okay. Yeah, so you are at my table right in front of me. So why would it matter to you or I what happens in other countries?
I mean, if you got paid a hourly wage that's livable, why wouldn't you provide good service?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't do this job is the thing, because I think 90% of servers would actually quit. And like, why would we want to run across a restaurant with our head cut off, like literally dealing with 12 tables at a time, listening to you talk crap to me because your steak's not cooked right? Like, why are we going to deal with all that on weekends, holidays? I mean, it doesn't make sense. We're not going to do that for an hourly wage.
Okay, but people in retail and other jobs and stuff like that, they do it.
That's not even comparable. Like, just because we're in customer service does not mean that we have similar jobs in any way, shape, or form. So what am I?
A server.
And where do I work?
A restaurant.
So can we stay on topic, please?
Well, these employers in big companies are just ridiculous. They should be paying you, not us.
Yeah. So, first of all, that didn't make any sense. But second of all, you just sat down and ate at this restaurant, meaning you're paying the employer and big corporate companies that you're complaining about. So, what is... Really sticking it to the man, aren't you?
Okay. I think that's enough questions. Things are escalating. She doesn't understand. Clearly, they're not going to understand. Whatever.
For millions of international fans, it wasn't only the matches that left a lasting impression. It was the everyday moments. From tipping etiquette to countless other customs, many visitors left America with stories they never expected to tell. What do you think? Is America's tipping culture reasonable, or has it gotten out of hand? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.